Hello, and I am Trey Hall reporting from the Debate Channel.
And I'm co-host Swarthout.
And with that, we're going to jump right into today's top stories for July 14th, 2017. The president traveled to Paris Friday to meet with French President Emmanuel Macron to celebrate both Bastille Day and the 100th year anniversary of the U.S. entry into World War I, which I watched some of the video of him in France, actually, and I kind of thought that, the president kind of has trouble with foreign leaders, especially allies, and I thought today was at least a little better for Trump.
Yeah, he did good. I was watching the news and they said that it was a good meeting between them. That went well.
Which, partially I think because Macron
it's kind of easy.
Buttered him up a little bit.
True.
Kind of buttered him up a little bit before they started, with Trump, you can just go, "Hey, Trump, I like what you did there." And he'll be like, "Oh, we're best friends now." Because that's how Trump works.
Sort of.
Anyway. But if we all remember that when they first met, they shared that white knuckle handshake between the two of them where they were like grabbing each other's fists, and I don't know what that was because that seemed kind of
showing friendship.
Well, I mean, I guess so, but
they're buddies.
Macron said that it meant to show he wasn't a pushover, which I kind of like. I happen to like Macron. But we'll move on a little bit from there.
What do you think? Well, what do you think went on between them in the meeting? What would you say they probably talked about?
Well, I think they definitely talked about what Trump said previously about Paris, which was not very presidential at all, sadly, to where he said Paris was basically a mess and they couldn't protect themselves, which he seemed to reverse his positions today, which was good. I mean, he's on the right track now anyway.
I would say it's not unpresidential to say that. He's just trying to help. He's just trying to show where he believes on where they're at in the country.
I don't think he was informed when he was saying those things because he likes to just spew stuff out. Most of it's lies, but
well, I'd say I don't have any problem with him saying that.
Anyway,
stuff.
It was a step in the right direction today. We can move on a little bit from that.
Alright, Nevada becomes 5th state in the U.S. with stores selling marijuana for recreational purposes.
This one's a good one. This one's a little bit older news, but I thought we would cover it because it's important, I think. This is expected to bring revenue to the state in the form of marijuana tourism, which was proven that it does have an effect in states like Colorado and Washington, which have, recreational marijuana for a couple years now. And if you look at their economies, they have some of the best performing economies in the United States. So that's a definite plus right there.
Well,
that's what I think.
Well, I sort of have mixed emotions on this. I don't think marijuana is that bad of a substance when you compare it to alcohol, which is completely fine everywhere around the United States.
Alcohol is worse for your body.
But I also don't think we need to be I don't think we can just legalize marijuana throughout the whole country, because then you get from legalizing alcohol to marijuana, and then to the next would be meth to cocaine, and you have to draw a line somewhere, I think. Not because the fact of how much worse weed is for you, but just because of the fact that you have to draw a line to where you have to end. What is legal and illegal.
Look, okay, I understand your concern there. I just don't agree with it because there's been multiple. You don't even need to study for that one. There are visible effects of what those worse drugs, the meths, the cocaines, the heroines, what they do to your body as compared to what marijuana would do to your body, which is less worse for you than alcohol and tobacco, which are both legal substances all across the United States. So I see no reason as to why marijuana should be classified with those drugs that are known to be bad for your body all across the United States.
Well, like I said, I don't have a huge problem with it, but just the fact that if you don't draw a line somewhere, then you can get into problems with worse and worse things being legalized, and that's when things can go wrong.
And that's what I liked about this new Nevada law, because they, to me, I had reviewed the law a little bit and some different news stories on it as well, and it looked to me as if it were beautifully implemented. Anyone 21 or older with a valid ID can purchase up to an ounce of marijuana for recreational purposes. Now, you obviously can't smoke it because public smoking is illegal, so you'd have to go to private property, which, is just part of the regulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, tourists are expected to go to Nevada amongst those other states that have legalized marijuana for, that very specific reason. And I think that age right there is a critical age. The drinking age, I think would be a good age for...
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, valid ID, that one's a good one too. Mm-hmm. But I liked some of these quotes here because it's good to hear from the people that are actually experiencing this. So, there was a Minnesota resident, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Edgar Rosas Lorenzo, went to Nevada to partake in some of this legalization of marijuana, and he said it was worth the wait. I'm going to get some more tomorrow. This was on the first night that it had opened. It helps me sleep. I get back pain. I have a slip disc, which goes back to the point where this is a substance that helps people not only with pain but with seizures as well. Mm-hmm. And it has many different medicinal values. So,
well, like I said, it needs to be a state decision for sure, because in some states this can make more or less of a difference than others. But what I do like about what the states that have legalized it is they're only allowing 1 ounce of weed, which is not very much at all. Mm-hmm. Just if you're going to legalize it, you need to at least start off very small and then build from there and see where it takes you.
Right. So... But I thought that was definitely a step in the right direction for the state of Nevada. Nevada, along with Colorado, Oregon, Washington, and Alaska, and the District of Columbia, are currently the only states that offer recreational marijuana currently. Hopefully that spreads to more states. That's my opinion. But with that, we're going to move on to our next issue. Some of the details of the Trump Care Bill, or the AHCA, which I wanted to cover because major bill going through currently in the Senate stage right now with the revisions that just came out yesterday, and you had multiple... the good thing was that there was actual debate on it in the Senate, and you had many prominent senators discussing it. So that was definitely a good step in the right direction. But it's still not good. 22 million lose coverage. There was a quote from the Harvard Center for American Progress study projected that an additional 217,000 deaths over the next decade, or 21,700 per year, just to the lack of coverage from this new bill. So you have more people uninsured, which is a big issue with me. What do you think about that?
Well, the one thing that I like about it is that this new bill that they're trying to pose would put limits on federal spending to Medicaid, which I think personally is a waste of money, and it's not fair to people that have to give the federal government that money, because I think that if you're making more than minimum wage and went to college to earn the job that you have, you shouldn't be punished more for healthcare reasons to other people.
And I think that's one of the big connotative negatives from these kind of public leaning healthcare options, like the ACA, which has its problems. It was a step in the right direction. It did not go far enough, I don't think. But the idea that, yes, there are penalties if you don't comply with some of these rules, but there's a point to those. They're not just penalties to penalize people. They're penalties so we can get as many people covered as possible, which is an important step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the details of the bill, which I found a little disturbing.
Yeah. Well, you can't fix everything in a healthcare bill in America. You're not going to be able to. It's as simple as that. But what we have now, we can get better than that, and that's what we need to aim for. Because what we have now it's dead.
We all agree we can do better than Obamacare, but I feel the AHCA is gravely going in the wrong direction. We need to go farther than Obamacare did. We need single payer to eliminate all of this fuss, eliminate all of this excess expense, to give people the best possible healthcare we can possibly get to them. And it's not like this is a new concept. There are multiple countries that have that sort of system, and it seems to be working fine there. So I think we need single payer now, right now.
Well, what this leads me to, I don't know why, is the debate on minimum wages. I think that people that are making minimum wage, I don't think that you need to be raising it any more than what it is now. Because, first off, if you're a small business and you have to pay people for both minimum wage more and for paid vacations, I don't know how you're going to be able to grow off that.
I'm just going to quick do my opinion. The minimum wage has to be raised. It has to be a living wage, because the minimum wage that we have now is proven to not be a living wage, and you can't survive on that. So in order to have a healthy middle class, we have to raise the minimum wage.
Well, anyways, guys, that's our show for tonight, so hope you enjoy it.
That is the debate channel.
We'll be coming to you more next week. Stay tuned.